Does it say it's recording? It should say a meeting you're in is recording. Does anyone see that?
I see it says recording.
Yes, it does say
Okay.
recording, yes.
Okay, so we're gonna start now with the governor's order. Let's see how badly I read this. As chair of the Plaistow Home Day Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to executive order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order and confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the Plaistow Home Day Committee have the ability to communicate, that stupid word again, during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to listen and if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing the following number. And that can be found on our Facebook page as well as your email. Providing public notice of necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting, including how to access the meeting using Zoom or telephonically. Instructions have also been provided on the website of the Plaistow Home Day Committee at www.plaistowohd.com. Providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anyone has a problem, you can call Dean. You guys all have his email. Adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote, which I will take over for Barbara. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states they're present, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the rights to know law.
In the meeting. You cannot be.
Can you please get me a phone?
There's no meeting, Connor.
Connor. So I'm just gonna go down the list.
Mommy, can I open the chippy?
You can have that.
Go ahead.
So I'm here with John and my son and Beth.
Yes, I'm here with nobody in the room.
Eric,
I'm here.
John Blinn.
Yeah, I'm here. Tammy's walking by now and then.
Okay. Michelle,
I'm here. No one's with me.
Bob,
I'm here. No one's with me.
Tracy,
I'm here. No one's with me.
and Dean's here. Bob, Dean. Okay, so like I said, if any of the attendees have a question or wish to speak, you can hit the Q&A button or raise your hand. I still need this. Okay. Oh, there's already a hand raised. How do you answer it?
Who raised their hand?
Hold on, allowed it. Jim Peck did. Jim, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I just wanted to make sure you know I was here.
Okay, thanks. I'm muting you. All right. So I did send you guys the agenda. Next, we're gonna approve the minutes. I hope everyone got to read the minutes that Barbara had sent. I think it was the day after our meeting, January 25th. So we just need a motion to pass those.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Do we have a second?
Second, I second.
Who was that, Beth?
Yeah.
So now we have to go down the list. I vote yes. Tracy,
Yes.
Bob, he sustains because he wasn't here, right?
Right.
John Blinn, I don't think you were at that meeting, were you?
No, I wasn't. I would abstain.
Okay, Michelle,
Yes.
is that everybody?
Yay.
Oh. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just making notes of this because I have to do the minutes, so I just want to write some things down really quick. So now we have to re-elect officers and possibly new committee members, along with there's vacant spots as vice chair and recording secretary. So I don't know if anyone has any interest in being vice chair, co-chair, or a recording secretary, anyone? Please. And of course, I want to continue being chairman, but we'll need to revote me in.
You need a motion on that?
Who is that?
You need a motion for that?
Yes.
I'll make a
Vote.
motion to appoint Haley Bush as the chairman of the Old Home Day Committee.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Michelle,
Yes.
Beth,
Yes,
Bob,
Yes,
John Blinn.
Yes,
Okay, and then Dean doesn't count. Thanks, guys. So new committee members, as you know, Jim Peck did step down. So we have the vendors to take care of for this year. My mom has offered to do it, but she got her second Moderna shot yesterday, so she's in bed. So she's unfortunately unable to meet it. So hopefully, hopefully next meeting we have, we can vote her in as a committee member when she can be present. And she's gonna take that over. I don't know if you know, I don't know if you guys, some of you weren't on the committee when she did it, but she does a really good job. Both her and Jim both do a really good job. So I'm excited to have her back. Okay, so now we're on to the budget. So I just happened to watch the selectmen meeting Monday and noticed they were talking about Old Home Day and a lot of things they weren't really sure of. So I ended up calling in, just giving them a quick rundown of what we kind of talked about last meeting. I was hoping that we'd get a lot done this meeting, and I'm going to be meeting with them April 12th. And I'm going to take all the notes and the minutes from this meeting and kind of present what we want to do as far as having an Old Home Day. Jim did our budget last year. So this was, I sent this to you guys, I believe. So these were our expenses from 2019 minus the parade, because I just think a parade this year is unrealistic. And more importantly, it's half of our budget at least. So I kind of took out what he wrote about the parade and kept everything else. So I don't know if, John, you want to chime in about this as far as what we can expect as far as our budget at the selectmen meeting?
as of now, there isn't any money for the budget. So, and we are gonna have to look and see what we can come up with. But I can honestly tell you, it doesn't look promising.
Yeah. So this is basically what we'd be looking for, which it's still a lot of money. It's 12 grand minus a couple things here and there. So maybe there's some things we can take out. Again, I really won't start really planning until we know we have some sort of money to work with. I think the fireworks are going to be hard. I think the fireworks, we probably should see if someone could sponsor them.
Well, you know, we're gonna have to use all the vendor money to pay for anything we do. And we're not sure right now if there even is gonna be any money available. But, you know, we're gonna work on that. I'm certainly gonna push the town to see what they can come up with.
Right. And if worse comes to worse, we can still have, you know, the vendors, things that wouldn't cost as much. I'm looking forward to getting everybody together again. And I don't even remember who said it, but it's, you know, it's already been a year since we haven't had an Old Home Day, and I'm scared that it's going to be, you know, it's really hard to get it back. So another thing too is regarding Old Home Day as a venue that would hold that amount of people in a wide open space. So I talked to Timberlane and they said, you know, they had some questions for us. I don't know if anyone as an attendee is from Timberlane. I think someone was supposed to come, but I don't think any of these people from Timberlane yet. So, you know what, we'll hold off on that talk. But the next one is the date. And they said that it would be really hard to have it as long as we don't how do I phrase this? If we don't interfere with the sports they have in the fall, because as you guys know, Old Home Day is so much work. It takes months and months to prepare. So if we did have it, I was thinking right around when they go back to school. And that just so happens to be when sports start picking up. So we'd have to pick a date where it doesn't interfere with their sports or any activities that they need that field for. John Gifford, he is president of the Lions Club, and he said that they have space. He'd of course have to talk it over with their members, but that's another venue option if we wanted to ask them. And he also has, he's raising his hand. Hey, John?
Yeah, so
Hi.
I'm the president of the Plaistow Fishing Game.
Sorry, that's
not
what I
the-
mean. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, but the Lions don't have a venue to offer. That's why I just want to make sure people understood that it would probably be the Fishing Games location.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you. Sorry.
no worries. Keep up the good work.
Thanks. Yeah. And then we have another hand.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, it's Jim Peck. I just wanted to comment.
Okay.
One idea I had, and it's a question for John Blinn. If John's still there.
I'm here.
You know that fund that was set up, John? It was an expendable trust fund for Old Home Day.
Yeah,
The way I read the warrant, it says that it can accept donations, and it goes on to say it accepts proceeds from the souvenir program, which obviously we don't have. But it does accept donations, right?
yep, it does.
So theoretically, just throw out an idea. You could go out and get donations from businesses. And, you know, for example, maybe Blinn Auto Body might put some money in, a couple bucks.
No pressure there.
No, not at all. I'm
We
just
do
joking.
every year, so that's.
I know, I'm just
that wouldn't be a
joking with you,
problem.
John. I'm just joking with you, but I would be, personally, I'd be willing to put some money in, and I think there are other people in town that might. So I'm just throwing that out as an idea.
I think it's a good idea, because I think we're gonna need all of that to have a successful Old Home Day.
Yeah, what you could do is figure out how much you need to spend, and then you could figure out whether you could get some local businesses to step up and some people in town, for example.
Yeah, and I think it would probably work. And that's why we did that, so is that we could go out, because I'm sure there are a lot of people in town, individual and businesses that will donate.
Derek, you have your hand up?
Bill Coy was next, and then you can take care of me.
Okay. Bill, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry for joining a little late, but
That's okay.
I know you mentioned you're trying to use the field over probably at the high school or something like that.
Yep.
The question I would have, it sounds like you're kind of looking at doing this more towards the fall now.
Just because the amount of
Okay.
planning.
All right. Would the size over at Park, would that work?
And that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Because
It
I've been involved with rec for quite a while, and I've already talked with the rec director. In the fall, if you blacked out a date, we could probably in that field would be fine. I don't see why we couldn't use that field.
I just thought of Timberlane because we have our fireworks there, and I know we had it at
Okay.
Park 1 year.
Yeah.
I think it might have been 2 years. I mean, I've only been to Park once. I'm not sure about their parking. I'm not sure, but yes, that's a good idea.
I mean, we definitely have time to check it out and go over and take a look at it.
Yeah.
See if that would work. I mean, there is a big field there.
Right.
And
Would
you
we
wouldn't have
be
to wait.
allowed to use that field for vendors?
I think we probably could, John.
That
I
would
mean,
be
I wouldn't
great.
park cars out there or anything like that, but
No.
I don't see why you couldn't set up tables there, right? For summer rec, we set up tents and picnic tables out there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be a great idea. We wouldn't interfere with the school.
Right, and
Right.
we could probably block off the whole day over there. So if you
Right.
wanted to do something, say you wanted to do a car show early in the morning, you could definitely do something like that there. And then transition over to things later on.
Right.
Yeah, I like that as a possibility, Bill.
Yeah, I just think Pollard Park's unrealistic because everyone's on top of each other there. So
Yeah, and you could spread out there, right? Because you figure you could spread out farther enough there. You have the softball field where you could do something over there.
right.
You have two baseball fields up top where we could do something in the outfields. You could even do a kickball game or something like that with kids or whatever, figure something out on those fields.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or even, a couple departments in town could have a softball game against each other out there.
Yeah, we used to do police against fire back in the day. Wasn't it police against fire? I forget.
It was the guns and hoses.
Huh. They should do that again.
He tried to do that last year and we just couldn't get enough.
Oh,
It didn't work out. Bill, are you all set? I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
so we'll go to Derek and then Tracy.
So, a couple things. I want to echo what Bill said. I actually think it's a better idea to keep it in a town facility, personally. Not that I don't consider Timberlane a town facility, but I think there is plenty of room at park. There's plenty of parking along Crowley's Way, both sides. There's plenty of parking within the park there. I think it's a doable location. So I'm a little confused. 2 years ago, last year when we went to do our Old Home Day, we had money earmarked for Old Home Day. Did that go back into a general fund? Did we not have that still for this year put aside? And then, the other thing is last meeting we were here, when I spoke about the fact that Old Home Day wasn't included in the operating budget this year. Julian got up and was a little hissy with me and stated, well, we'll find the money, we'll find the money, we'll find the money. And I know, John, we'll find the money, but I'm just concerned because, again, my whole sentiment last meeting was if you don't do it, you'll lose it. And this is the only thing that the town really has that brings us all together as a town. And it would be sad to see this go because of COVID. And that's just my opinion about this whole thing. My concern is that we're not going to be able to have it because we don't have the money. So I'm just curious where the money was from last year that we didn't use, and why is that not available to us?
So I sent Francine an email shortly after our last meeting, and she said it went back into the fund. It didn't go towards next year because that's the assumption I was on all last year, is that we were just going to use last year's budget for this year, hence why we didn't get a budget this year. That's why when I saw we had no budget, I'm like, I guess we're just using the money from last year. I thought it went into that trust, but it didn't. It just went back to the town.
Haley,
Yep,
I can explain where it went if you want.
sure.
Okay, what happened was 22,500 was budgeted for 2020. $350 roughly was spent. The difference of just over 22,000 at the end of the year was unspent. Nothing was encumbered. So it all went into what's called the unassigned fund.
Yep.
It went into that fund, and the selectmen can only use that fund by putting a warrant out on the next March to spend each March to spend it, or they can use that fund for emergencies, or they can use that fund to reduce taxes. So you really can't get to it for Old Home Day. It's gone.
Did that 350 go towards the website? Is that what that was for?
350 was, I guess it must have been,
That's a
I
lot
didn't
of
look
money.
at it. That's what Francine told me. I believe it was the website, yes.
I'll have to look at it too, because I feel like that's way too much. Because Greg did ask me what we had for expenses last year, and they go, the only thing we have is website, because we're not having an Old Home Day.
Yeah, I
feel like
don't know
that's
what it
way too
was.
much.
Francine asked me and I said I didn't know what it was, but that's how much was spent. And the other thing I would mention is that at the end of each year, the selectmen in December encumber contractual.
Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Fireworks guy. So that was encumbered, 6,000 was encumbered at the end of 2018 because we didn't. And then it was expended, actually paid in 2019 and paid for the fireworks. So we didn't have to pay it. At the end of this 2020, the selectmen could have encumbered any contractual obligations such as fireworks, but nobody brought it up and consequently nothing was encumbered.
Right. If I go in front of the selectmen and I sit and I bring, a nice organized list, like this is what we want, this is how much it is, where would that money come from?
Well, I can only comment, and then I'm sure John and Bill Coy can comment, but what I know is that the budget is extremely tight this year, and I know
Right.
Mark already commented that he doesn't have a lot. I think it was unfortunate that Julian said he could quote unquote find some money. You can't really find money. It has to be
Right.
shifted from another. The selectmen have to approve a shift from another line item because the budget's so tight. I doubt that they would. So I'll just shut up and John can comment, I guess.
Well, yeah, he shouldn't have said that. And I was at a meeting first of the week, and all I keep hearing about is the budget committee left things in tough shape. So there is supposedly nothing to go after. I know we used to talk about a revolving fund. And there's supposed to be some money in a revolving fund. So I'm going to talk about that when we get everybody together. But it as far as finding money for this, it's going to be tough. Because I was just told the other day that the budget committee only appropriated $1 for the electric for this year.
I think, John, just to add to that, the reason they did appropriated the dollars, that allows you now to shift from another line item. Legally, you have to put at least $1 in there so that later on, if they decide to shift money from, say, I don't know, the fire department to Old Home Day, they could shift it.
Well, that's true, but they're making it tough for us to try to do this. And, they just didn't leave it. We wanted to take the last year's money and put it in in our general fund for Old Home Day, and they wouldn't allow us to do it. They voted against it. They wanted to
Well,
put it back in the general fund.
One thing that the budget committee did, John, I don't know if you're aware of it, but they did propose a warrant article to be on this past March, for the voters to vote for Old Home Day. Unfortunately, it was ruled by, I believe, Greg Talon illegal. So unfortunately, the voters didn't get to vote on Old Home Day, which they should have, because the budget committee left it out of the operating budget. They didn't even get to vote on that warrant. I don't know why that warrant was ruled illegal.
Someone said something about the wording and it was pulled.
I think it had to do with the way it was worded, is it said the money would come from this expendable fund, which is a legal fund that's set up, but there's no money in it. And what I heard, and I don't know the full story, is that because the money was coming from the unassigned fund, that it couldn't accept, that fund could not accept money coming from the unassigned fund. That's how it was worded. But what they could have done is restructured the warrant article to say, just simply raise and appropriate 22,500, put it on the ballot, let the people vote. But for some reason, the selectmen or Greg Talon or somebody did not put that warrant article, and I'm sure a lot of people would have voted for that had they put it on the ballot.
Yep.
Well, the bottom line is they didn't take Old Home Day seriously. And there doesn't seem to be, it's going to be a struggle because there doesn't seem to be a lot of push to do this. So my advice would be for Haley, come up with a plan and how much you think we're going to need, and then we're just going to have to start looking around and see what we can get from the town. There's got to be something somewhere.
And John, I think we should also look at getting donations. I think if you talk to some of the local businesses, I think they will readily put up some money.
Oh, I agree, Jim. I'm definitely sure they will. But we deserve something from the town, and the town deserves Old Home Day if we can, put it on.
I agree with you, John. 100%.
I think that the town definitely, I think the majority of the town wants something. And,
Right.
And, and I think the one nice thing, if you can have it out at Park, which I think we need to know the date you might be looking at fairly soon. So it doesn't get booked up because we have lacrosse rentals out there a lot of times in the fall. So if we can get a date, one nice thing too, you have like the pavilion out there. So you could put a band under there.
Yeah, right.
Like we have the concerts. And I even talked to Jen over at Rec. But maybe we could do something if one of our dates got rained out, we could shift the music to that day.
It's covered. I'm sorry, I went there once a long time ago, but there's a covered area at Park.
There is, and that's where the concerts are out there, right? They were last year. Right, it's right next to the playground. There is the shelter pavilion, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, it's underneath, and that's where the bands play now.
I'm just saying, because we give Grand Rental almost $1,300 for a tent and a stage.
Well, there's $1,300 saved.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, there is. I mean, there's a covering right there that you could use.
Their bathrooms.
Well, that'll all depend on if they get opened up. If they're opened up, then yes, we have
Oh,
bathrooms. If not, we'd have to go porta potties. I don't know what the COVID restrictions would be at that time.
Bill, last year during the concert series, they had the porta potties out. So I would imagine we could just probably go back to porta potties.
Oh, sure, absolutely, you could.
We use that on the town green anyway, even though the town hall has
Yeah.
bathrooms, we still pay for porta potties just to keep the public from kind of roaming around the town hall.
Yeah, and maybe that's something you might have, Pete Sewer, maybe they'll donate some porta potties.
Yeah. Does anyone else, I know Tracy has her hand up for a while. Is this in regards to the subject now? No? Derek, your hand's up too?
Yeah, you didn't take my hand down.
Okay, I'll take it down. Oh, wait, Bob, do you have a question about what we're discussing now?
No, not what we're discussing now.
Okay. So, we're gonna move on. Tracy, what was your comment?
My comment was just, we had talked when we met in January about possibly doing not one set date, but whether we do multiple locations. I just don't know if even in the fall, everyone will want to be in the same location, even with vaccines and such rolling out. So is that completely off the table, or is there a thought if we have a set Old Home Day, organizations or businesses or vendors could do something at their location, or do we want to try to do it all in one location?
My thing is with that is it's already hard enough to try to get local businesses involved. Like the Y has been absolutely amazing with Old Home Day, but and Jim did a good job with I think it's the Barber Smith. Like some people are totally in for it. A lot of people, it's just really, really, really hard to get local businesses involved. We tried last year to do the virtual Plaistow Old Home Day, and that completely bombed.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of having it in one place. I miss Old Home Day dearly. And I think that's, one of the first things I'd want to do is be somewhat around people.
Yep.
Safely. So that's my take. I don't know how the rest of the committee feels. Derek, go ahead.
So I'm hearing grumblings that I think a pivotal point in where things are going to be heading is going to be Memorial Day in the state. You know, if you look at right, wrong, or indifferent, if you look at other states, there's 17 or 18 states right now that have lifted their mask mandates. They're opening up kind of fully at this point. And I have a funny feeling hearing things that there's a possibility that by Memorial Day that things could be pretty, I don't want to say back to normal. I don't think we'll be back to normal for a while, but I think it's going to be more of a comfortable spot. You know, we're in March, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, maybe we're getting more and more vaccines out. So, you know, like I said last meeting, as this goes, I think the comfortability factor is gonna increase. You know, and then even after Memorial Day, we're still looking at 3 months to a potential Old Home Day in August or wherever we're looking at. So, you know, we don't have it. If we have it at Park, we're not limited to when we can have it, which I think is a great idea.
Right. When I say fall too, I mean like September or August.
Yeah,
I don't mean like November. You know, I wanted to be clear what I meant by fall. I just mean later in the summer at least.
No, I get that.
When it's still warm and sunny.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, nobody wants to be running around in a dunk tank in 10-degree weather,
right?
You know, whatever the case is. But you know, I have to say, as time goes on, the comfortability factor is going to be coming. So depends on what I would say. You could do multiple locations, but let's see where we are in 3 months. You know what I mean? Let's plan on Park. See where we are in 3 months. See where we are in 4 or 5 months, and see if we need to do multiple locations. But with Haley, like people like in April we have the town cleanup, we have the rabies clinic, and we have the household hazardous waste on the same day. So we're trying to get things opening again. We're trying to do things again, and like to me, that's a big day in this town. People are going to be moving around. People are going to be doing things. So hopefully it'll keep progressing forward. But I would say, again, as I echoed last time, let's see where we're going. Let's see how we're trending before we make any decisions as to whether we need to split it apart or we can just do it all apart. But I think doing it apart is the right call.
And Tracy, you know, Park and YMCA aren't obviously far from each other. So if you wanted to do some events, if you wanted to open up the YMCA on that day and do something special as far as Old Home Day, like that would be awesome.
We're actually looking to do like a back to school, I don't want to call it a block party, but back to school event in August. So that's why I was almost curious when you were thinking about that. I agree that people want to get back to as close to something normal as possible too, but just looking at what that time of year, what are our best options and what's the best options for those who want to be in close proximity to each other, and what might be the possibility of something else too. Yeah, I mean, we've done stuff with you know, with rec before, so it wouldn't be unheard of. But I know we're already planning something in August, and it's definitely something we could, if this is a day we choose, we could expand it to be on the same day. It's not for us. We've just know, like, we did a family event this weekend for an Easter egg hunt and did limited at our ninja course, and we ended up having to do 6 different time slots because it was so popular and we kept having wait lists. So we know people are ready to do something more with getting folks out and in person. Just trying to see what we can do to make sense for everyone. That's all.
Right. Okay. Bob, did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, my question was for the 5K road race. If and when the venue moves, do we have to move the 5K road race, because the road race is, you know, marked out for where it always has been for, you know, 30 years or plus.
So in regards to the road race, I'm leaving that up to your discretion. That's always been taken care of by the Lions. They pay for their own shirts, they pay the trophy. That's all your deal.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to move the venue, but we pay for the police detail. Not the Plaistow police, but any I'm saying this and I'm not entirely sure, but I know we pay for some sort of police detail. So where we wouldn't be at the Main Street, I'll look more into this with a more definite answer, but where we're not at Main Street, we wouldn't need the police detail there. So that might be something that the Lions Club might have to provide if you want to have it the same loop. Are you guys planning on doing your 5K this year for sure?
We haven't really talked about it that much, but I know there have been some road races out and about on
Yep.
a limited basis, so it's possible.
And you know what, if you are open to moving it to park, if there's a way that we can kind of find a route there too, I don't know. I know we've been doing it on Main Street forever, but that's also an option too, where the police would be at park already.
Okay,
But I don't have a definite answer yet.
all right.
That's a good question though.
Haley,
Yes.
yeah, I didn't mean to just crash in. I just came back to the meeting. I know you're talking about like different venues and stuff, and I just came in as you talk about it being at park, but I know that at the high school, I think it was like the soccer group or something, they did a 5K race that went from the high school campus that went around into Atkinson and then back. I'm not sure if it went into Atkinson, but it went back around Greeno Road in that area. So if they were looking for something a little closer, there was already a known for that 5K distance, that is a potential option if you wanted to keep everything in close proximity.
Right. Yeah, that's something, once we know when Old Home Day is, that's something we can nail down, a specific detail that we can nail down. Does anyone have any questions or comments on anything we've talked about so far, or we're gonna move on? And if you do, you can just raise your hand or you can ask a question like Rayanne did. She said, what about using more of Main Street, like having vendors from the town hall to the library and shutting down more of Main Street? The police we tried to do that a few years ago to shut down all in front of Pollard and everything, and they're not a huge fan of that. It just takes a lot of manpower to kind of control the traffic. So they weren't really too keen on shutting down Main Street. And she said, can also ask the emergency management manager, Chief Mullen, if the CERT team can help with traffic there, train and traffic. Well, absolutely. We will do that. All right, so if no one has any comment, oh, I see a attendee hand raised. Oh, just went down. Jim?
Yeah, just briefly, I was going to say, we never paid for the police detail. It's paid by, the details are paid by the detail fund. So we don't pay for, we didn't pay in 2019 anything for the police detail.
I think I'm thinking when my brother might have been chairman, because I remember seeing it on our budget one year, and I think we paid out of town. We didn't pay Plaistow, like they needed more, so we had, it was something. So thank you for clarifying though. So back to Bob's comment, if that's the case, then we'd have to check with the police to make sure they'd have that kind of on-hand help to be at park and to help you on Main Street.
Okay.
So we're gonna move on. I want to keep this open in case there's another comment. So I have raffle on here because we haven't really heard from Michelle too much. And I really think we should have a raffle this year. Most of our raffle prizes actually come from the vendors themselves. So I don't know, Michelle, if you want to chime in what you're thinking. If it's something you still want to take on.
I can definitely take it on. I don't plan on moving forward though with anything until I kind of know when the date's gonna be.
Right.
Just if that makes sense.
And for anybody that doesn't know, we also include on our vendor application, a little box where they can put, yes, they'll donate to our raffle and what. So that seems to be very successful, that we get a lot of donations through the vendor application. And Michelle does a terrific job with the raffle every year. It's really well put together. So good job, Michelle.
Thank you.
So as far as entertainment, it's really hard without a budget yet, but I did reach out to all these vendors. They all have it open. They're just waiting on me. They're all the same price. So again, we'll have to see what we can raise or what the town will give us before I, of course, make any decisions, or we make any decisions, I should say. Next is vendors. Like I said, my mom is going to take over for Jim this year. She did it before Jim. She's very good at it. So I have no problem or no worries about her taking it over. It's a lot of work. My phone is literally filled with at least 10 to 15 voicemails in regards to when the vendor application is coming out. And it all just falls back on the budget. We have to make sure that we have the venue and the room and the money to have an Old Home Day. I'm in a meeting, Connor. So, I mean, the Facebook, when's the vendor application? Where's the vendor application? And as soon as we know for sure, we'll release that. And I think, as far as the money going to us versus the Historical Society, I'd have to talk to Jim and figure out how to set that PayPal up, because the PayPal goes into the, I believe Jim can clarify. I think it goes right to the Historical Society. So,
Yeah, I can explain if you want.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the Historical Society started Old Home Day 45 years ago. And the Historical Society has received the funds from vendors for 45 years. The Historical Society gets no other funding from the town, zero. And the other point I would make is that the selectmen, as late as 2017, decided that the Historical Society would get the vendor money. So I believe it would be up to these selectmen to decide whether they would take all the funding from the Historical Society. This is an unusual year and that could happen, but I'm just saying it's the selectmen that decide, not the committee.
Mhm. I think it was revoted back in because someone challenged it.
It was revoted in 2017. It was
Right.
decided that the Historical Society would continue to get the vendor money.
So
And
if
as
we
far as-
wanted it this year, it would have to be brought up to the selectmen to vote on.
It would have to be the selectmen who would decide that.
Okay.
But keep in mind, I'm just telling everybody, in a normal year, you would get just over $2,000, maybe 2,500. The Historical Society budget of year is $4,000. And so last year, the Historical Society lost virtually all that money. I was able to talk to some vendors and they did donate some of it, and some of them rolled it over, but a lot of vendors took the money back. So the
Yep.
Historical Society was significantly more than the town was impacted and had no funding last year, and we had to scramble. So if it gets taken away this year, it is another unusual year, I understand. But that means the Historical Society would again have no funding and would not be able to operate, would not have any operating funds.
John, did you have a comment?
Well, I know last year we talked about raising the fee to $50.
It was raised.
Yes, it was raised. It was raised actually the year of 2019, the last time we had it, John. It was raised to 50 for a 10 by 10 and $100 for a double vendor.
And we had a limit of 50 vendors.
No, we actually ended up approving, I think, a limit of 80 and it had to
80.
do with the
We
number that
capped it because we didn't have the room for them. There was so many.
Yeah, we didn't have the room and we had a lot of new, if you remember, we had a lot of new food carts and stuff and it was just, the town green was just ridiculous. So
It's too many.
we did limit it to 80, but I would think in a COVID environment, you might even have to, certainly you would have to limit it even more.
Do
We'll have to
we
look at
have
park.
any idea? Do we have any idea what the park will hold? Maybe,
I can't
maybe
speak. I'd
Bill
have to go
would.
down there and look,
Yeah.
but we'd have to social distance all the booths. So we'd have to go down and look.
Well, Bill, you almost have that big multi-purpose field it's basically almost the size of a football field. You know, so that's a good area. Plus you still have the softball field that's still there and 2 baseball diamonds. So it's significant property up there.
Well, with the money crunch and, if we could get 80 vendors, that would be the nuts.
Yeah.
One
I don't
other
know.
option-
It
have
can
you
go
ever-
either way.
Have you ever thought of like doing a calendar? I've seen some calendars bring in like $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
Like if you ran it for like say the month of May or something like that, you have different, businesses in town, restaurants donate something, one for each day. I mean, that might be a way to get a quick $5,000.
Right.
When we did the souvenir program 2 years in a row, I got 32 local vendors to pony up $7,000. And then after expenses for the souvenir program, donated $5,500 to the town. And in 2019, that went towards the DeLorean car and some other things. So I think the vendors in town would, if somebody talks to them, they will definitely pony up the money. I know a number of vendors who would just love to participate and donate money. I know in Kingston, when they have the Kingston Days, that is fully funded by nothing from the town. It's all funded by vendors, and they obviously have a huger event. But I'm just saying that we really need, since we're forced to, I would suggest strongly that we go down that path this year.
What are other towns like Kingston? What do they get for vendor fees?
I actually think the vendor fees might be higher, John, but it's going to be tough to raise them in the COVID environment.
Right.
But I mean, I can check that out. I know that Michelle and I we looked at, remember, Michelle, we looked at Kingston at one point.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. So another question, I've been part of events where raffles are actually required as their application by the vendors with their fees, something to consider too. Absolutely. I mean, we usually don't, and Michelle can speak, we usually don't have an issue with getting raffle prizes from the vendors. Most of them, I think, donate to the raffle. So that's never really been an issue to get prizes, I don't think.
No, it hasn't been an issue, no.
Okay, so then I put the parade in here. I took the town report from the last 3 years, and the average amount for the parade was 8,491. I remember when Bill used to do the parade, one year it was 13,000. It just varies. So that's a huge expense we don't even have to deal with, and a huge headache to plan that parade that we don't even have to visit this year. So that's good. Fireworks, I was saying this earlier, John, we use Atlas. They used to be 12,000 and we got our budget cut. So they grandfathered us in for 6,000. So we kind of always use Atlas and just pay them 6,000. So hopefully we can get that money this year. And I think that'd be huge if we brought those back. The website's PlaistowOHD.com. I went in there and I will add Barbara's minutes for tonight, and I will write up these minutes and have them to you by the end of this week so that next meeting we can approve them. And then at the end, we just have kind of general discussion what everyone's at. So Jennifer Gussler, I'm going to allow her to talk. She's from Rec and she wanted to attend tonight. So I just wanted to see, Jen, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, so I didn't know if you had any input, if you wanted to.
Well, I was gonna say, if we could touch base about dates, I can let you know what days the field is not reserved. It's a very active field. So if you're looking at the fall in between sports, we gotta get that date pinned down as soon as possible. And
So
then there would not be any kind of water or electricity out in that field either.
Okay.
But there's definitely electricity underneath the pavilion.
Okay.
And Jen, isn't there electricity where the scoreboard is too?
Yes, so I guess, but there's only two outlets.
Okay.
So I don't know if that would be high enough power to really power a whole bunch of booths.
We get, usually we'll get a generator or two from Grand Rental that holds a whole bunch of vendors. The only thing we need electric for is if we had a band and they can use the electric underneath the pavilion. And then if vendors need electricity, it's just a generator. We usually rent from Grand Rental.
We can probably grab a couple of generators from the fire department.
Oh yeah, you guys have some.
Yeah.
So what does the field look like? Connor, I'm sorry, my son is crazy tonight. What does the field look like August, September-ish?
Well, we have lacrosse, we have
Are these all on Saturdays?
flag football. Yeah, those are the two big ones that reserved the fields last year, and they reserve Monday through Sunday. So, or Sunday through Saturday, they reserve every day. But if we could get a date and I could black out the date and then get that to the teams, that wouldn't be an issue.
So as a committee, we can pick a what if date tonight if you guys want to. It's not something I'll share publicly, but it's kind of just to hold the spot. So at least we have something to work around.
Now, I will tell you that the park, that multipurpose field will be set up for our summer rec program
Okay.
until the 13th of August. So if we did Saturday, August 7th, then you'd have plenty of seating for, because all of our tents would be set up for summer rec.
Right, so you'd still have, you'd have tents from Summer Rec, so you could use those tents as well as the pavilion.
Yep.
And what, does anyone happen to know when school starts?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say September 1st.
Okay.
Usually starts on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So September 1st or September 2nd.
Okay. So you suggest August 7th. It's gonna be hot.
August, I would say August 7th or August 14th.
Yeah, because Jen, right, even if we use the week after, generally they take the tents down on that Friday. We could tell them to leave the tents up until Sunday or Monday.
Right. We could talk to Grand Rental about leaving them up for an extra day.
Can I interject?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry,
I think August is silly.
Okay.
Everybody's planning their last trips. Everybody's trying to get their last minute go-aways done. I think it should be September, maybe the first or second week in September. Kids are back to school. Everybody's home. Trips are done. People aren't going anywhere. They're back. I think you're also competing with Kingston Days, which is the end of August too, the beginning of August. Excuse me. So I would say it's still warm in September. I say we do the first or second week in September after everybody's back and trips are done and people aren't camping and people aren't pulling out their brand new trailers to go places and do things. So
you're almost talking like the first weekend then after Labor Day.
yeah, I think the weekend after Labor Day would be great.
Would that be race weekend, Derek? Because then we're competing with the NASCAR race weekend.
Yeah, that's September 11th.
Yeah, but
Yep.
can I just, as
That's
far as the race weekend goes, that's not the actual NASCAR race. The actual NASCAR race is in like June or July. That's a secondary race that's put on by NASCAR. It's not as big.
Yeah, it's not the big one.
Right. It's not the big one. It's
Okay.
not the Foxwoods 300.
I know that we would be competing with a lot of fall sports. So we would need a date ASAP.
So
Yeah,
Jen,
Jen.
I would just say this, we are the town. I agree with competing, but we should have priority.
Right.
They're
No,
paying for the fields,
I
Derek.
agree we should, but what it is, we rent them out, so we want to black out that, the rec wants to
Right.
black out that date. So boom, there's no issues. We have. it.
Okay.
What do you have open in September?
I'm not at the office right now. I don't have
Oh,
that
I thought you were like, I'm
information.
sorry.
But if you want to choose the 11th, I can check it and get back to you.
I don't know about having it on September 11th.
Actually,
It's gonna be the 20 years as well, so there might be some bigger
Yeah.
events going on, but I don't mean to crash in again. I'm looking at the school district calendar right now. The first day of school is showing to be August 30th.
Okay.
And I know that, and I don't know what you guys, and I don't mean to keep barging in here. I'm just kind of the moderator here. But I know that some of the other towns do things. I know Sandown has been floating back and forth between doing their Old Home Day in August and September. So I don't know if like how much we want to try to balance with, or how much you guys want to try to balance with other towns in our district who might be competing for the same event or the same vendors or attendees or whatever.
Yeah, does anyone know where I've been to Sandown and it's not as big as ours. Kingston's bigger. Does anyone know when Kingston Old Home Day is?
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
Last I saw Kingston was like the first week in August. And I know Sandown's been going back and forth between August and September, and they haven't really been able to make up their mind one way or another. But I like you said, like there's always gonna be something on the weekends in September, like the September 11th, and then someone mentioned the race, and then the Highland Games, and then the Deerfield Fair. So it's almost like whatever weekend is gonna be something.
I
Right.
mean, there's gonna be something no matter what weekend you pick in the year. I don't care if
So-
it's January or February, there's always gonna be something going on.
Like this date would be perfect because school starts the following Monday. No one's gonna be on, you know what I mean? Everyone's gonna be home.
Yeah.
But I don't know if rec
It's
has it
Labor Day
open.
weekend.
Oh,
Can I make a motion?
yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to tentatively hold the date for September 18th for Old Home Day. You know, that's just, to me, it gives everybody time to get back. We're here, nobody's going anywhere. So I'd like to make a motion for September 18th as the tentative date for Old Home Day.
Does someone want to second that?
Well,
No second. So are we thinking August then, if we don't want to go September?
I mean, I would second the September 18th. I don't know if I'm able to do it.
I don't think
know
you
how to
are
play.
because you're not
Right,
a,
exactly. That's why I'm
committee
saying,
member.
but I would.
is there a time limit on a second? Are we not, I don't think we're gonna get one, Derek.
Well, I can second that. I'll second the September. My only concern is, like, I'm not seeing dates of anybody, like, did anybody find Kingston? Because it doesn't,
first week in August.
they are the first week in August. Yeah, I mean, September 18th, I'll second that.
All right. Hold on one second. Derek and Beth. Just gonna do a roll call to get a vote. John Blinn,
Yes.
Bob,
Sure.
Michelle.
Can I ask a question before I vote?
Okay, I think so.
Well, I don't know if this is a discussion allowed, but I'm fine with the 18th, but I might have missed it. Is there a problem with doing the, like an August 28th, like a few days before school starts? Was there a problem with that date?
It's Labor Day weekend, I think.
Yes.
Oh, the 28th is Labor Day?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, Labor
That's a
Day is
weekend.
this, Labor Day is the 6th, September 6th.
Oh, it
It's
is.
Yeah, it's the first Monday in September.
Oh. Then
So-
I
Yeah,
kind of like the 28th.
The first month, yeah, it's September 6th.
All right, I'll take my motion. I'll withdraw my motion.
Yeah, so we would stay away from September 4th because that's Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
So does someone want to make a motion on August 28th pending, pending that nothing is already booked at Park?
I'll make a motion that Old Home Day 2021 would be on Saturday, August 28th.
I'll second the motion.
Derek second. All right, roll call.
Just a quick comment.
Yep.
It might be a good idea to figure out the funding before you select a date.
Well, they're gonna black it out for us. It's a tentative date, just so they don't book anything in the meantime. This isn't gonna be posted anywhere yet. It's just so we have a date.
Okay.
That's all. It's not gonna be advertised or anything like that. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, Beth,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
John Blinn,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, so like I said, once we, get further, at least we have that date. Hopefully, Jen, if you can get back to us as soon as possible, just to make sure that's open for sure.
I can email you this week, Haley.
Okay, perfect. Jim Peck, your hands up. Are you all set?
Yeah, I'm also.
Okay. Does anyone want to add anything before we end our committee meeting tonight? There's no more questions. All right, so let's plan our next meeting. These are gonna be monthly now. And we're gonna do it after the Board of Selectmen meeting, which is April 12th. So we can do the following Sunday, which is April 18th. I don't know, I hope that's open. Is 7 work for everybody or is this too late?
No,
Fine with
7's
it.
fine.
Okay.
Fine for us too.
So like I said, I'm going to meet with the selectmen April 12th. I'll send you guys everything I'm gonna bring with me. If anybody wants to come and just be another voice, I would really appreciate if I could have another committee member or two with me. Like I said, that's the selectmen meeting. We're gonna be on the agenda. So if you can't make it, watch it home, fingers crossed. And we are meeting again April 18th at 7. I do work full-time, so please give me a week to do the minutes. I'll get them to you definitely before next meeting. Just be patient with me. And like I said, I'm gonna make up a nice little packet for all the selectmen's that they can look over, and I'll send it to you guys too before I bring it, okay?
Thank you,
Does
Haley.
anyone-
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or anything else? Jim?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask whether you're going to attempt to have a vice or co-chair and a secretary, because I believe the selectmen have to approve the nominations. I would assume they would approve, you know, your chairmanship and any other nominations at their April 12th meeting.
So at this time, no one has stepped up as recording secretary or vice chair. So until Greg just emailed me, I believe it was Greg the other day, and just said, send me who your officers are. And right now it's just me.
Okay.
So those spots are open for anybody.
And one of the-
Haley, I'll put my name in for secretary if you need a secretary. I don't think I could do vice chair.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll
I'll
take one of
second
them off
it.
your hand.
Tracy, Haley. Okay, roll call for Michelle to be secretary. Derek,
Aye.
John,
Yes,
Beth,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
All right. Congratulations.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments before we adjourn? No? This is a great meeting. I feel like we got a lot accomplished and we can kind of see where we are. And you'll be hearing from me soon. Okay, guys?
all right, good night,
All
everybody.
right,
Everyone,
good
have a
night.
great night.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you.